welcome once again to Senior Focus. I'm your host, Bill Adams. Senior Focus is a show designed for adults over the age of 50 or so, and we come to you every day, basically, through Armstrong's Channel 20 and 100, and thank you to Greg Roten from Armstrong, who does the technical end of the show. And also, if you happen to miss any of the show, you could always go on YouTube and put in Senior Focus and Armstrong Cable in the search. Also, thanks to the public library system of Youngstown and Mahoning County, we're coming to you today from the Canfield Library, so we thank them for the opportunity to use their facilities. Today we're going to be talking with Mr. Robert Fenn. Mr. Fenn is with the Social Security Administration and actually out of Akron, right?
That is correct.
Yeah, and maybe you could start by just talking about your area that you cover and where you go around to.
Yes, and thank you for the opportunity to be here. Mm-hmm. My area where I lay my hat at is downtown Akron. Now, even though that's where I start possibly my day, but I cover the areas of Stark, Summit, Wayne, Medina, Trumbull, Mahoning County, as well as out in Mansfield area.
Okay.
So I go, and as far as south as Tuscarawas.
I got tired just hearing that. So your car is your friend, I guess.
Yes,
yeah.
Very much so. I have to have treats at any time when I get in the car.
Well, and your position is actually public affairs specialist, and we've had Jim Mattis on in the past, and that's what Jim did.
Yes.
So congratulations for,
Jim is
for
happy.
taking over, Jim. Yeah, and he's happy in retirement.
He's happy and retired.
That's good to hear. So you'll go out and speak to groups about Social Security, and what are some of the things that are the questions maybe that people ask, some of the more prevalent questions they may have for you?
Yes, well, I would say those questions derive from my experience. When I first started with the agency, my title was called a service representative. Mm-hmm. And what that meant is that I was the individual who would actually speak to you first, help you find out information to decide if you needed to speak to someone else a little more technical, or is it something as a Social Security card that needed to be processed? Then I was promoted to a position called a claims representative, and that's where I actually processed the claims for retirement, Medicare, disability programs. Mm-hmm. Now that allowed me to be promoted to the position, as you said, a public affairs specialist. Regardless of the difference, and the change of my positions, some of those same questions will come up. Mm-hmm. And so the more common questions that I would receive is, when should I retire? Mm-hmm. What's the best age for me to retire? How much money am I expecting to receive?
That's a good one.
Yeah. When can I get that money, right? Well, and then throughout that experience and my experience going through the different counties that I mentioned, many individuals are just wanting to know what's the best choice for them and what options do they have. Meaning, I'm married, maybe I can file as a spouse. Well, I've worked and I've never been married. Or I'm an ex-spouse. Or, unfortunately, someone's a widower or widower. So all those scenarios, depending on their life experiences, determines what type of questions I may receive.
Right. And I know when Jim was here, and it's been a couple years, but he was very much into promoting the online socialsecurity.gov. Is that the website?
That is correct.
Would that be something you would encourage people to go to?
It is. And now, what we mean when we say to look at the website is that our society has evolved in terms of the information. There's so much information out there. And it's very important that individuals know what is the correct source to get information. Everyone, I did a presentation, and the room was about 100 and so people in there, and there were predominantly seniors. When I say seniors, individuals who were 65 and older, okay? And those individuals, would say, well, we don't like the computer. There were some people in there. And then it was also assumed that individuals at age 65 did not use the computer. So I simply asked the individuals, could anyone here raise your smartphone? And I'm telling you, at least half of those individuals raised their phones up. I said, do you realize that it's a computer? Yeah. You have access to the internet. And so what it is that the socialsecurity.gov website is just another option for individuals. Individuals still can come to our offices. They still can contact the 800 number. So therefore, this is just another way for them to obtain information to see if they're making the best decision for themselves.
Right. And I would just suggest to people who are out there that aren't familiar with a computer or don't have the smartphone, maybe you have a younger relative who is very good with a computer. And the other thing is, like in Austintown, where we started the senior center, there are places like that where
Yes.
there are senior centers that can help you get online, and the library also is excellent. We're at the library, so come to your local library and they can certainly assist you.
That's right.
So if you go on that website, I guess you can have your own account. That's the word.
That's right.
Your own account. And I think one of the things people would like to know is, well, if I retired now, or projecting, what is my projected Social Security income? And you can get that, right?
That's right. Now, what happens is that in prior years, Social Security would mail out a Social Security statement. And that statement would come out 3 months before the individual's birthday.
Okay, I remember that.
Then time changed. Then those Social Security statements were mailed out in increments of 5 years, age 25, 30, 35, et cetera, up to age 60. Then it was mailed out one time per year. That has changed. Now the Social Security statement is being mailed out one time per year for those who are age 60.
Okay.
And now, of course, we know there are many individuals who are underneath the age of 60 who would like to know what estimate am I eligible for Social Security retirement benefits.
That's me.
So that is why you have the mysocialsecurity.gov account.
Okay.
An individual can go to our website, and if you notice I'm saying socialsecurity.gov, G-O-V, because if someone was to use any type of search engine, they can see, they type in the word Social Security and there's going to be a plethora of links.
Right.
We want to make sure that they're getting the correct link.
That's it.
So if they go to socialsecurity.gov, you'll see our website. On the left-hand side right now, we have the most popular baby names. On the right-hand side, you will see there's some squares with individuals inside those squares. We call them suites. And one of those options is for retirement, disability, for Medicare. And just underneath that, they will see the word My in red lettering. They click on that link, and this will start the process for this individual to register a My Social Security account. Now, I've done it myself, and so in that case here, I know that the My Social Security account, it's tied to a credit agency. And that credit agency is where we're deriving our information to make sure that you are who you say you are on the other side of that computer.
Oh, okay. So to prevent fraud, or
that's right.
Okay.
That's right. And so there are simple questions such as, do you live in a house that is a 2-story home? It asks questions. I remember it asking me, do I live in a home that has 2, 4, or 8 bathrooms? I put 8 just to make myself feel good at first. I went back in, put the 2 on there. And as long as you answer all the questions correctly, you now have a My Social Security account. And effective new news, as of June 10th, there's going to be an extra security feature. And what this means is that once someone has set up an account, they can, during the registration, they can have a text message come back to them, and or for those who want that extra security coming June 10th, you will receive a code before you're able to go back into the account. So the steps would be go into mysocialsecurity.gov, enter your username, enter your password, and then you're going to get an email or a text. You can choose either one.
Right.
Receive that email, and it'll have a code. You put that code back into your computer. Now it's an extra authentication of who you are on the other side of that computer.
Right, just to, again, make sure it's you and not somebody trying to steal information. Now, some of the basics about Social Security, some people have worked in their life, but they aren't working currently. They're a caregiver or whatever the situation is. How do you qualify to get Social Security benefits? What's the financial number for that?
Right. The basis is it starts with what we call a credit. When individuals work, of course, they pay into that FICA tax. And each year there's a dollar amount which Social Security uses to say this is a credit, equal to a credit. This year in 2017, that dollar amount is $1,300. So if someone makes $1,300, they earn 1 credit. Every year they can earn a maximum of 4 of those credits.
Okay.
So if I make $5,200 gross, that person has earned their 4 credits.
Okay.
With those 4 credits, we want to add them up. Once a person gets to 40 of these credits, 40 credits makes this individual what we call insured for Social Security retirement benefits.
Okay.
40 credits makes them insured for the retirement benefits. But these same credits makes an individual possibly insured for Social Security disability payments. Because it's important to know that individuals age 20 has a 1 in 4 chance of becoming disabled even before they reach their retirement age. So I bring that point up just to reiterate those people who are coming to me to asking questions. Many of them do focus on the retirement aspect, but Social Security also has an important program known as the Social Security Disability Program.
Right, and that's good to know, again, because as you say, there are people who, you know, if you're working, especially in a labor job,
Yes.
you know, where you're doing strenuous physical labor, you could, you know, get hurt and need assistance. So that's
or
available.
If it's a more what we call a white collar job, individual stress could be an effect of something else, or if you have something that we know is serious as cancer. That cancer can last for a period of time, so those individuals can also file, because the part of the Social Security Disability Program's qualifications is the disability must last at least a year or result in someone's passing. So it's very important.
So if you're talking about retirement now, and you know you have worked in the past and you're pretty sure that you have the credits, enough credits, what are some of the steps to plan for when you might want to retire?
Yes.
Because we were talking off camera, I've got relatives who retired early. I think 62 is the earliest you can, right?
62.
But in my instance, in my situation with my birth date, I have to go to 67 if I want full benefits, and that's gone up over time.
Yes.
But so how do you decide, do I want to go work to 62, 67?
That's right. And thank you for asking that question, because it's very important that people understand that even in the month of April, Social Security celebrated a National Social Security Month.
Okay.
And one of those things that we had informed the public is taking those 5 steps to be prepared for Social Security, because Social Security is today and tomorrow. Now, one of those steps is to verify your information. Get to know Social Security. Get to know what Social Security stands for. That's what we're discussing. Now, verify the information. And that starts with getting that My Social Security account, looking at your Social Security statement. And then you can go in to find out how to estimate your benefits. If someone goes to our website, socialsecurity.gov, they can type in estimator, and they can see there are 3 different estimators for their Social Security benefits. Now, those estimators, again, are estimators, meaning that you can type in your salary and see how it changes your Social Security benefit.
Right.
What's separate is the My Social Security account. To get this statement, the Social Security statement is based upon your actual earnings. And so it pulls up that Social Security statement, if you will, online behind the computer screen. And it says, if you continue to make these earnings, it's giving you the projection of what you would receive.
Right.
So we're encouraging individuals to go to My Social Security, register to get your account, and then you can use that as an estimator. And then you can look to also file for those Social Security retirement benefits, the Medicare benefits, spouses benefits online itself. So you have that option. As far as when should I file for those Social Security benefits, there's a little phrase that I say, and I think most people or our viewing audience would agree, is that many people tell you what they want you to know. You know, it may not tell you what you should know. All right? And so they may tell you, friends and family I'm referring to, say this is when you should do it. Because they had a loved one who unfortunately passed away at the age of 59 and wasn't able to collect. So that person is more likely to file at age 62. We understand that.
Sure.
There are some individuals who believe they have this George Byrne effect, where they're going to live to 105. Oh God, you'll get it. Right?
I remember that.
That's right. And so those individuals may be more likely to wait or delay filing for Social Security benefits. What's my point? Everyone has their own reasoning to file for those benefits. Now, we at the Social Security office, we will give them those numbers. How much can they receive at age 62 or age 66? Because anyone can file in between those years as well. And I think it's important that I do point out to the audience to let them know that, as you have referred to, the full retirement age has changed, and some people still don't know that. So let me make sure I let everyone know that if you're born between the years of 1943 to 1954, the full retirement age is 66. Anyone born after 1954, 1955 on, it increases in 2-month increments. So 1955, 66 in 2 months, all the way till 1960. That person's full retirement age will be 67. So we encourage individuals to start with our website to get the information, so that way they can plug in those numbers on that calculator, use their My Social Security account, and then they can see, okay, this may be the best option for me. Some individuals filing at 62, that's what they wanted to do. They wanted to file at 62 because maybe they've already worked 25, 30 years.
Right. Or they have other retirement
to supplement.
Which is the ideal, because Social Security was never really meant to be your entire retirement fund.
Absolutely correct.
It was there to, prop up people who didn't have anything, but the goal is to have this as one of the
three-legged stool.
Three-legged stool is what they say, yeah.
Yes.
With the pensions and things like that.
That's right.
Just going back again to particular numbers, I mean, not specific numbers, but again, say somebody worked in their 40s, 30s, 40s, whatever, and then they had a higher income, and then they became a caregiver or whatever it might be, and now they may be working but a lesser income.
Yes.
What is your ending retirement based on? Is it based on the average of your income over time, or is it your highest, or how does that work?
Yeah, great. Thank you for asking that. Social Security uses your top 35 years over your lifetime.
Okay.
Top
I didn't know
35
that.
years. Top 35 years.
Okay.
Another one of those questions I receive in the public is, well, is it based upon my last top 5 or my top 3? For Social Security, it's your top 35 years. Now, what's also important about that is that going back to that Social Security statement, many of us look at the Social Security statement, and then we look at some of our earlier years when we were a teenager, worked at the mom and pop shop,
Right.
Type of establishments, and we see lower dollar amounts as compared to our current as an adult. You're making whatever salary that may be.
Right.
However, people should know is that Social Security's benefits, we bring them to what we call indexing. That means that old dollars, past dollars, are brought into today's value.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yes. So even though on that Social Security statement, it may say, making up a number, of course, $10,000.
Right.
But the person files for Social Security benefits in 2018, that $10,000 in 1960, 1970 could be worth $30,000 or $40,000.
40, yeah, right, 3 or 4 times
Yes.
based on inflation.
That's right.
Sure. That's good to know.
That's very good to know.
Yeah, it's very helpful. Well, how about the idea of people that might want to continue working and start receiving Social Security, or how does that work? Can
Yes.
you both work and receive benefits?
Yes. One of the first questions that Social Security is going to ask, because you're saying, I am retiring,
Right.
we want to make sure, well, are you actually retiring? So there's something we call an earnings test. And so each year, that dollar amount, what we call an earnings test, can change.
Okay.
This year, that dollar amount, 2017, is $16,920 gross. So if someone is making $16,920 or less, and they're less than their full retirement age, that's age 66 that I mentioned, so they could make that salary, $16,920, without affecting any Social Security benefits.
Okay.
Now, what I like to point out is that some individuals hear that number, $16,920, and they think, well, I've already made over that, so that must mean I can't retire. Not so.
Okay.
If someone's going to work between the months of, let's say, January and June, they're going to retire. They're going to retire as of July 1st.
Okay.
And between January and June, he or she has already made $40,000. True enough, $40,000 is more than the $16,000. However, if this is their first year, they can, what we call a limited year, this individual can say, oh, I have not received any Social Security benefits, and we will then count the $40,000, but not against them. We'll look at it, but we'll say July on through the rest of the year.
Oh.
Are you over? And then we will divide the $16,920 by 12. And I believe that equates to $1,410. So
Okay.
if they're making $1,410 gross, July through the rest of the year, they would be eligible for their Social Security retirement benefits. That's, again, someone who just filed for their Social Security benefits. Now, once they reach the same year they turn 66, if that's their full retirement age, that $16,000 amount is bumped up to $44,880 this year.
Oh, okay.
That's a big increase. So they
Sure.
can make $44,880. And what's important about that part is that Social Security is only concerned with the money from the beginning of the year to the month prior to them reaching their full retirement age. So my
Okay.
example, I said, July they're going to retire. And let's say that July they turn 66. So Social Security is going to say, are you going to make more than $44,880 between January and June? If the person tells us, no, I'm not going to make more than $44,000. I make 50 for the whole year. So I
Right.
know in 6 months I'm not.
No, that'd be
Right.
yeah.
Then we'll do a calculation. We'll let this individual know you can receive your Social Security benefits effective January, or you can wait till July. Some people who may contact us via the computer or in person, they will say, wait a minute, what's the difference here? You're saying I can get my money now? Remember, I'm referring to everyone has to find out for their own reasons.
Right, right.
Some people will see that Social Security check for $1,000 in January. If they waited till July, maybe it's $1,100. Well, that's an extra increase of $100. Some people want that $100. Some people say, wait a minute, $1,000 all the way up to June, that's $6,000 I could collect. That could be their reasoning. They want to go on vacation, new roof on the house, whatever it may be.
Right.
All right. So everyone has their own reasons. So once someone reaches their full retirement age, 66, doesn't matter how much the individual makes. They can, as we say in the office sometimes, you can make $1 million a month. It has no effect in terms of Social Security.
Right.
Now, of course, IRS would like to know because you have the additional income, Social Security plus your work, and making $1 million a month. And the only obligation, I guess, is for them to contact you and I. We need a new $1 million friend, right? So that would be it.
Well, that brings up a point about taxes. Once you start getting Social Security, how does that affect your federal tax?
Yeah.
Your
Now,
income?
again, I don't represent IRS, but I will say this, is that the Social Security check that is processed electronically,
Right.
Mailed out to the individual, sent to them, that Social Security check, there aren't any taxes taken out of that.
Right.
Now, it depends on an individual's income and how they file, if it's an individual or if it's a married couple. So for an individual, if they have more than $25,000 in total income, then that Social Security check could be taxed.
Okay.
If there are a couple, then it starts at the $34,000. If someone has more than $34,000 total as a married couple, then they can tax. Now, that tax barometer, if you will, is 50% all the way up to 85% if they're at $44,000. Now, excuse me. So what this means is that I would encourage individuals, they speak to their own financial advisor, tax accountant, spouse, whoever it is who's filing those taxes, and see if this additional income will place them into a different tax bracket. That part I do not know.
Right.
We do have at our offices, or you can go online, there is a form, it's called a voluntary tax withholding. So what happens in the real world is that many individuals, they work, pay, receive the Social Security benefits, and then maybe use a lack of better words, they get dinged, and they say, okay, I had to pay back. Well, then they contact Social Security, they can request that voluntary tax withholding form, and they can have increments of 5, 10, 15, or 25% withheld from the Social Security payment, so that way it'll cover them for the next year.
So it won't be a lump sum at the end, yeah. Well, again, we've gone through retirement, but why don't we talk about, you did mention about disability, but I mean, just all the things that are involved with this local Social Security office. I mean, you've got Medicare, people sign up for that. Why don't we talk about Medicare? Because, unfortunately, we only have a half hour here, but what do you have to do to sign up for Medicare? What do people need to know about that?
Yes. Well, of course, Medicare is our nation's Social Security insurance program for those age 65 and older, or those who are receiving Social Security disability. And I like to stretch that a little bit there, because many people get there's confusion between Social Security disability and SSI.
Okay.
Social Security disability comes with that FICA tax. Social Security disability has Medicare attached to it.
Okay.
SSI stands for Supplemental Security Income, and that is tied with general revenues or with Medicaid at Job and Family Services, two separate programs.
Okay.
But the Medicare will come into place for those who are getting retirement benefits at age 65 or getting Social Security disability after 2 years. Now, how this works is that if someone is receiving Social Security cash payments prior to age 65, they are automatically enrolled to the Medicare program. So if they start at age 62, 63, 64, when they reach 65, 3 months before that, they will receive their red, white, and blue Medicare card.
They don't have to do anything.
They don't have to do anything at all. They do not have to return to the local office. They don't have to make a phone call. It's going to be done automatic. Now, if someone is going to work past age 65, because you are not obligated to file for Medicare, traditional Medicare, if you're still working and covered by employer group health plan.
Okay.
So if you have the employer group health plan coverage and still working, and I should say there's a little fine note there, as long as it's 20 employees or more.
Okay.
If it's 20 employees or more, the individual does not have to file. If it's 20 employees or less, then they would have to file. When a person's working, the job is primary. Medicare will be secondary.
Okay.
So that's one of the reasons why.
Now, we only have about 5 minutes to go, but I wanted to make sure that people know, though, that there are possible problems if you don't apply for Medicare, because we've had that in our own family.
Yes.
People just didn't know about it, or they just put it off. And could you describe that if you're required to sign up for Medicare, but you delay?
Delay. Yeah.
There is some cost to
That's
that.
right. So you have your initial enrollment period, special enrollment period, and general enrollment period. Initial enrollment period means I can file for Medicare 3 months before or 3 months after 65. So let's say the person did not do that.
Right.
Then they have the special enrollment period. Special enrollment period means this person has 8 months from the last day of them physically working. So they retired in January, they had all the way to August to contact us. Let's say that didn't happen.
Yep.
Then the individual has what we call the general enrollment period. And the general enrollment period happens every January, February, and March of that coming year. So if someone enrolls during that time period because they missed out on those other opportunities, then Medicare will be effective that July of that year. That goes to where you're speaking of the penalty. So Medicare, they will say, has 12 months, a year passed since they could have taken it. If the answer is yes, that person then would be assessed a 10% penalty to the cost of the Medicare Part B premium.
And the important thing is that's ongoing.
And that stays with that person for life.
Yeah. So what I think the caution is again, as you're getting towards 65, certainly go online, but also, well, why don't we talk at this point about contacting the office for those people who don't go online or as a supplement to that?
Yes.
What do you do to contact Social Security?
An individual can, as you said, they can go to socialsecurity.gov, but if they decide to, they can call the 1-800 number, which is 1-800-772-1213. I repeat, 1-800-772-1213. That is a national number, and I have to make sure I let everyone knows that does not go to the president. It does not go to the head of Social Security. It is a teleservice. But people call thinking, hey, I want to speak to the boss. Okay, well, that's
head
not
of
what's going to happen.
Security.
Head of Social Security.
Now,
they can contact that number, and based upon your zip code, it will let us know which Social Security office is nearest to you. And then you can set up an appointment for you to go into the office or for that office to recontact you. The difference is that if you go online and you file a My Social Security account and then you file for your Social Security retirement benefits online, then that information is sent electronically to whether it's the local office or to one of our agents who will process that claim. We still will recontact you to see, oh, you have filed this claim. That is done, that recontact is probably done within 2 weeks or so. If a person calls the 800 number that I mentioned, then that appointment is made probably within 2 weeks to 30 days. So therefore, it's a little bit longer for them to get back in contact with you. But lastly, the individual, tried and true, they can still go to the Social Security office. They can go to whatever office is closest to them, or they're snowbirds and they decide to go to Florida. They left Boardman and they decide to go down to Florida for whatever reason. They can submit a retirement claim in that office, and it's still, they'll ask for their address, where do they live, in Boardman, Canfield, Poland, whatever it may be. And then those applications will still be processed just the same.
In our case in Mahoning County, the office, though, is downtown in Youngstown.
That's correct. Just one in Youngstown and Warren.
Well, we got maybe a minute to go. Is there anything that you want to just highlight to people, about Social Security? Anything, I guess, plan ahead? Is that?
Definitely plan ahead, and I encourage people at least check out the website. Check out socialsecurity.gov. Look at the My Social Security accounts. Read that information. If it's something as simple as someone saying, hey, what's the most popular baby name out there? They can see Emma and Noma's lead the list right now. That's a great option for them. And I encourage individuals to, if they're looking for someone like myself, to come out to their jobs, their churches, their synagogues. It doesn't matter, any place at all. Which you're looking to get someone like myself to come and give information about Social Security. You can look on our website. You can type in the word Ask a Speaker. And then it'll send something electronically. I will receive it, and I'll recontact you.
Well, that's great, Robert. We'll put you out on the road again.
Thank you. Thank you.
We've been talking with Robert Fenn. He is the Public Affairs Specialist at the Akron office of Social Security, but he covers Mahoning County and most of Northeast Ohio.
A good portion.
Thank you for coming on. Again, you've been watching Senior Focus. I'm your host, Bill Adams. We want to thank Greg Roten from Armstrong's Channel 20 and 100 for bringing the show to you. If you missed any of the show, it's archived on YouTube. Just go to the search box and put in Senior Focus and Armstrong Cable. Also, thanks to the Public Library of Mahoning County. And specifically, we're in Canfield. And again, go to the library if you need help on getting to socialsecurity.gov. Most of all, we want to thank you for watching. Take care.